And welcome to this section of our lectures. We'll be talking about variables today. Variables are containers for storing data values. Think of a variable as a name attached to a particular object. Python does not have a command for declaring variables, so to create a variable, you have to just assign a value to it and then just start using it. Assigning is done with a single equal sign, and this is an equal sign. We looked at how to work with numbers, but you ask yourself, what do these numbers represent? It is helpful to assign number data types a variable name that can be used to reference them later in our code. For example, below we're creating a variable called number of tires, and we're assigning it the value of 2. This is how a single variable is created in Python. Python also supports chain assignment. This is why you assign the same value to several variables simultaneously. For example, you may want to assign values of your car parts the same value. Like here, we have number of tires equal sign number of windows equal sign number of doors, and then equal sign the number 4, which is the value for all the 3 variables that have been created. What this means is that number of tires has been assigned the value of 4, number of windows has also been assigned the value of 4, and number of doors has also been assigned the value of 4. Let's go to our Jupyter notebook and do some hands-on. I'll be using the Google Lab for my notebook, and I'll just create a variable called name and give it the value Kim. And so I could print name, and when I print it, I'll get clear. Where am I getting clear? Oh, I didn't run this, so create the value name Kim, and then print it, and you get Kim. So I'll create another variable, and it will be age, and I'll give it the value 12, and run it. Don't forget to run your cell like I did before. And then I'll print age, and I get 12. So we have created 2 variables, name, Kim, and then when we printed the name, we got it, and then we created age and printed it out and got it. So that is one variable being created at the same at once. But then we might want to create several variables at the same time. So like number of tires equals the number of windows and number of doors, and give it the value of 4. So if I wanted to print the number of doors, I'll get 4. But then if I want to print number of tires, it should also be 4. And then also if I need to print the number of windows, it should also be 4, just like we assigned them here. Back to our slides. Creating variables requires us to follow certain rules. Rule 1 is that we may have, when we're creating our variable names, they can be made of letters, numbers, and underscores. Names cannot start with a number. It can either start with an underscore or a letter. You cannot have spaces in your name. If you have 2 words, just concat them using them an underscore instead. And then you cannot have symbols like the ones that are seen here below in your name. You cannot use them to create a name. Also, it is best practice to use lowercase letters when you're creating variable names, and also avoid using reserved words. If there's any word that is already being used by Python, by all means, do not use it. For example, set, both, those are already used by Python. Variable types in Python. Variables do not need to be declared with a specific data type in Python. Variables can change type after they have been created. What this means is that you could create your variable as an integer and then you can change it and it becomes a string. And that's okay in Python. So we have dynamic typing versus statistically typed. Python uses dynamic typing. This means you can reassign variables to different data types. This makes Python very flexible in assigning data types, but it's different with other languages that are statistically typed. Those languages will require you to declare the data type when you're declaring the variable. So this is the example that I was talking about. You create the types of tires and assign them the value of 2. But then later you change your mind and you decide to say, oh, I want it to be a dictionary. And then you assign it a different value, which is totally of a different data type. And that's okay in Python. There are pros and cons of dynamic typing. The pros are it is very easy to work with. You don't really have to declare the data type, so it makes it faster when you're developing. But the cons are it may result in bugs for unexpected data types. For example, you might change the data type when you don't really mean to change it. Also, you can reassign something when you did not really mean to do it. You need to be aware of the type because you don't have to declare it. So whenever you're coding, you need to be sure of the type. And that is the end of our lecture. Thank you.